If the world has always told you that you are overly sensitive, that you overthink, and that you are making yourself suffer, listen very closely to this. You are not broken. What they call sensitivity is actually one of humanity's rarest forms of intelligence, hyper-awareness. You possess an advanced operating system that the masses will never have. That is why, when you walk into a crowded room, before anyone even utters a single word, you instantly read the atmosphere. Others see a social smile, but your intuition pierces through to the utter exhaustion behind their eyes. Others hear a loud compliment, but you detect the underlying scent of simmering jealousy. Seeing the truth in a world full of artificiality is a gift, but it is also a curse. Now you stand at a crossroads with two choices. Either accept trading away this sharp vision to live in peaceful ignorance like a fool, or learn to master it, turning your sensitivity into the ultimate weapon to protect your mind. Today, we stop treating ourselves like a malfunctioning machine that needs fixing. Learn to maintain an unshakable mind amidst an ever-changing world. Subscribe to Silent Wisdom Mastery to awaken the quiet power within you. Leave your thoughts below. Have you ever seen right through someone with just a single glance?
Most people live by reflex. They only notice the obvious, a harsh shout, a rude gesture, or a kind gift. But for you, everything runs deeper than what appears on the surface. You easily detect when someone is hiding their true feelings. You notice the slightest shift in their voice, their gaze, or the way they pause before answering. Scientists call this highly detailed information processing. Your brain doesn't just hear words, it feels the emotion behind them. You don't just look at a face, you recognize micro-expressions that flash by in a split second. Because of this, you often sense the atmosphere or the mood of others much faster than most people.
Marcus Aurelius once said, "Look within, let not the peculiar quality of anything nor its value escape thee." You are the one practicing that philosophy in the most natural way. When you spot a contradiction between someone's words and their actions, that isn't paranoia, that is hyper-awareness. You aren't guessing, you are reading data.
How many times have you betrayed your own intuition just to fit in with the crowd, only to realize later that you were right from the very beginning? This sharp perception often comes at the cost of exhaustion, because when you absorb too much data, your nervous system overloads. But remember, a sharp sword always needs a good scabbard. Solitude and silence are the scabbard that protects your intellect. In the darkness of silence, your mind is free from meaningless noise. You begin to see the underlying structures of truth. This is not a burden, it is a privilege that allows you to stay one step ahead of the world, sensing the tiniest vibrations before an earth.
To turn your hyper-awareness into a weapon, you must recognize the three powers you possess. The first weapon, the incongruence detector. In this colorful world, the ability to recognize the mismatch between energy and words is a survival advantage. When someone tries to manipulate you, your nervous system sounds the alarm before they can even finish their sentence. Do not ignore it. That discomfort in your chest is the truth speaking up. Manipulators fear nothing more than those who see through their script without needing a single confrontation. The second weapon, atmospheric mastery. Because you feel the emotional temperature of a room, you have the ability to adjust it. While others unintentionally escalate tension, you, through your stillness, can absorb and diffuse underlying conflicts. Hyper-awareness tells you exactly when to speak up and when to step back into the shadows. You do not control people, you control the energy around them. The third weapon, strategic empathy. You don't just feel another person's pain, you understand its root cause. This transforms you into a quiet leader. You know exactly how to touch a person's weakness or strength with just a single brief sentence, because you have observed them long enough in silence. This is the wisdom of masters, those who use understanding to turn the tide without ever relying on brute force. If you can see through the soul of your opponent, Will you use that power to lift them up or to protect yourself from toxic psychological games? Understand that every signal you receive is a piece of a grand puzzle. Ordinary people only see disconnected pieces, but you see the complete picture. That is why you often feel like you don't belong in the crowd, because you are standing at a higher vantage point, observing the entire chessboard.
Hyper-awareness only becomes a burden when you allow that data to control your emotions. If you see someone lying and you get angry, you lose. If you see an injustice and you crumble, you have dropped your weapon. The hyper-aware sage learns to observe without judgment. You see deceit the same way you see rain. You don't get mad at the rain, you simply pull out an umbrella. This is the exact moment hyper-awareness transforms into wisdom. You observe the world with absolute detail, yet you keep your inner self as still as a glassy lake. Be proud that you belong to the 20% of the population carrying this unique operating system. You don't need to try to be strong the way the crowd does, loud and unobservant. Your strength lies in silent power. When you are silent, you hear what others cannot. When you observe, you see the scripts operating behind reality. Have you ever realized that the very solitude you once feared is actually the throne where your intellect is sharpened to its finest point? Wisdom does not come from knowing many truths, but from knowing how to react to those truths. When you are hyper-aware, you have more time to prepare, more space to choose the best response. You are no longer swept away by the emotional storms of others, because you saw that storm forming when it was nothing more than a gentle breeze.
Never apologize for your sensitivity. Never shrink yourself so that the blind can feel more comfortable. This world needs people like you, those who see the cracks before the wall collapses, those who feel the pain before it turns into destruction. You are the gatekeeper of truth. You are the one who sees the tangled threads of fate, while others only see the puppets dancing. Use your hyper-awareness to build an unshakable inner fortress. Use it to choose your friends, choose your work, and choose how you contribute to this life. From this day forward, whenever you feel overwhelmed by what you see, smile and tell yourself, I am seeing reality in its highest resolution, and that is a gift. Thank you for listening in silence. If you recognized yourself in these words, leave your mark in the comments. We are the quiet ones, but we see it all. Your silence is not weakness. It is the ultimate observation.